Good morning, Enid. It's good to see you again. Welcome to our show. It is Thursday, March 10th, and currently it's about 150% humidity out there. It's very humid this morning. It's only 45 degrees. It doesn't feel that bad, but the humidity is off the scale. I'm Steve Keim. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Ashley Keim.
Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning, Steve.
Welcome back. Seems like we were just here again.
Again.
By the way, for our friends out of Vance, winds out of the north around 8 miles per hour, so I guess you'll be taking off towards the north today, right? towards the north. Anyway, high today is going to be 68. It's going to spring has sprung. And speaking of springing, we're going to have to set our clocks too. So you're going to set your clocks forward?
I'll think about it. I haven't quite decided yet.
You have an option this weekend.
Right. We are happy to have you here, Enid. We're glad to be back again, and it is time to rise and shine.
Good morning, Enid, again. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday. It's 7:31, almost 7:32, as the morning marches on. Remember the group called the Ides of March?
I do not.
I thought so. Yeah.
I noticed that a lot of our conversations start out with you saying, "Do you remember?" Ashley.
Well, there is a generation or two or three between us. Anyway, in March, there is a song. The name of the song is called Vehicle. It's by the group called Ides of March. And anyway, when I think of March, I always think of that song. Of course, I'm a retired radio DJ from way back in the black and white TV days.
Right.
So anyway, I don't know how we got on the subject of Ides of March, but anyway, spring has sprung. Thank you for being with us. Let's look at the statewide temperatures. It's 45 in Enid, and on this beautiful tulip day, we can go all the way to Bremen. It's 46. I've been to Tom, Oklahoma, in southeast part of the state. Look how much warmer it is down in the southern part of the state. Okay, I was listening to the state, I think Class A basketball playoffs in Oklahoma City over the weekend on the radio, and okay, the boys team was playing. I think they got beat though. Dipple is at 54. So you can see the other part of the state without reading all those. And where you're from, Angora, and that area over there, it's 47 this morning. So, but that's what the statewide temps look like. But high today for us is going to be 68 degrees. What do you think of the tulip garden?
I love tulips,
Your
Steve.
backyard looks great.
It does, doesn't it? I worked really hard on that.
It's amazing. So you planted all those tulips in November, December, when you're
yes.
supposed to.
Oh, yes.
Get them right down where you're supposed to, and then boom, they come up. Well, they look great. Very nice.
Thank you, Steve. And also the weather for this weekend. We are looking at some clouds, but we're still going to be fairly warm, getting into the upper 60s and the 70s. Still staying above freezing this weekend, which is awesome. And
No kidding.
I think we have something going on Sunday. Steve, what did you mention for Sunday?
2 a.m. we have to spring forward,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen. It's that time. So set your clocks forward on Saturday evening, or even on Sunday. Even if you forget Sunday, you can do it. Anyway, it's just time to spring forward.
Yes, my least favorite part of the year.
Oh, I don't mind it so much, but
I
anyway.
love spring, but I enjoy sleeping.
That's
as
true.
well.
I'm not sure if we can get the radar up for you in case you saw the statewide temperatures that we had. And just in case you're traveling across the state today, you can see most of the moisture is way down the southeast part of the state and over into Arkansas. So if you're heading east on I-40 or just going to the southeast part of Oklahoma, you will run into some showers today. So be careful if you're out on the road today. So that's the radar. We're springing forward, and it's about 7:35. Thunder won last night, I heard.
I heard the same.
That's good. That's good. Well, to find out what happened overnight in the state of Oklahoma, it's time for the Oklahoma Minute with the bow tie guy, Mr. Derrick Silas.
Adding to a recent string of tragedies for the Oklahoma City Thunder, this week was the death of Dion Waiters' brother, Demetrius Pinckney. Governor Fallon and legislative leaders reached an agreement on a plan to withdraw about $78 million from the Rainy Day Fund to offset budget cuts to schools and the prison system. Michael Chase Morris, who launched the Chase Morris Foundation in honor of his son, pleads guilty for 4 fraud-related counts. And an Oklahoma City man that was shot in front of his family was accused by shooters of belonging to a gang. The Oklahoma Senate okays a plan to suspend licenses of abortion doctors with the exceptions to save the life or preserve the health of the mother. And a 15-year-old Jenks High School student, Olivia Hurd, wins grand prize in C-SPAN film competition. She was chosen out of 2,887 entries from 45 states and gets the $5,000 prize for her film entitled Up to Our Necks. Last night, the Oklahoma City Thunder played the Los Angeles Clippers. Thunder won 120-108. And OSU played Kansas State. The score was Kansas State 75, OSU 71. Tonight, OU will play Iowa State at 8 p.m. in Kansas City, Missouri at the Sprint Center. Well, and it's about that time again. March Madness starts next week. It all begins March 13th with Selection Sunday. Then the first round kicks off in Dayton, Ohio, March 15th. And on this day in history, 1876, the first discernible speech is transmitted by telephone when Alexander Graham Bell talks to his assistant. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Back to you, Steve and Ashley.
And on this day in history, and now everybody's walking around just looking at their phones. Isn't it amazing? You see people walking into walls, they walk into anything, but they're just looking at their phones the whole time. Thank you, Derrick. You're looking rather dapper, wasn't he? With the bow tie.
Yes, he was. And you are as well, Steve.
Well, I'm supporting all the Kansas State folks. I know Kansas State is near and dear to your heart.
It is.
And so anyway, they beat Oklahoma State. So here's the purple for the Wildcats, right?
Good choice today.
Well, thank you. We hope the Sooners win tonight. And boy, Iowa State is always tough on the road. So could be rather challenging. Give us, I talked to my sister last night. She lives over by Morrison, east of here. And she wanted to know the latest on Norman. She didn't ask about me. I'm talking about a variety of things. She goes, well, tell me about Norman. I go, a cow. And you're not even asking about your brother. So give us the update on Norman.
He's pretty adorable. Well, actually, the other night, I was in the kitchen and I was doing dishes.
And Norman's in your kitchen?
No, just Matt went outside to do chores and all of a sudden the doorbell rang. I assumed Matt was out in the barn. So I went to the front door and lo and behold, Norman was at the front door. Matt let him out to wander around while he was doing chores, and he brought him up to the house to say hi to me.
Pretty good. You got a cow that comes to the front door, rings the doorbell. Wow. Okay.
And speaking of which, let's not forget to bring up our cows.
Yes.
Yes.
Bring up the
Anything, any
cows.
events, comments, questions, suggestions, we love to hear from you. We highly, highly recommend sending those to asksteve@enid.org. You know,
Any recommendation for therapists and things of that for you and me?
Right.
Or mainly you. Send them to Ask Steve. And if you have mail for Norman, if you want to send Norman a letter or something, just send it to asksteve@enid.org, and I will make sure that Ashley delivers all the mail to Norman. And by the way, we have got to have some updated pictures.
I will get some.
I mean, that one's so cute with him with that monster bottle that he has, but he's probably moved on to 2 monster bottles by now.
Well, he is getting bigger. He's filling out. So.
All right. Speaking of getting bigger, let's look at the school menus for today on this Thursday, March 10th. And take it away for Thursday, Ashley.
Thursday, today they will have pizza, steamed corn, romaine salad, an oatmeal raisin cookie, one of my favorites, blueberries, and milk.
Steamed corn. Poor corn, never had a chance. It's steamed. And if they go back to school on Friday, this is what they're going to have. Chili dog, cheese and chips, breakfast of champions, carrot sticks, green beans, diced peaches, and milk. I don't know, Ashley, it seems like that menu sure sounds familiar. Seems like they have that every Friday. I don't know, but I always enjoyed lunch. Of course, I still enjoy food. But, you know, lunch was one of my favorite topics at school.
Absolutely, absolutely. The school that I went to, we didn't have a cafeteria.
You went
Steve,
to grade school?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
And I made it through, surprisingly.
Congratulations.
But my mom packed lunches for 5 of us kids.
Wow.
Every day.
Way to go, Mom.
Forever. And she's amazing. So props to her for,
Yeah,
for always sending us with lunch.
Yeah, most moms are amazing. Well, we're holding steady at 45 degrees. Good morning, Enid. Thank you for joining us today. Again, the high today is going to be around 68, so it's going to be kind of a springish day, light wind out of the north. So it's going to be nice to enjoy the tulips and get the kids out and walk around to the park and things of this nature. Okay, we're moving forward. We're springing forward because of the weather, or the time of the year, if you will, but also the time of year, March, word association, March, weather. What comes to mind, Ashley?
Not sure where you're going with this, Steve.
You're supposed to say severe weather, Steve.
Severe weather.
Yeah,
Tornadoes,
thank you very much.
Rainstorms.
There we
We're
go.
looking for
Ding,
some
ding,
more
ding, ding,
rain.
ding. We have a winner, Ashley. Thank you very much. Severe weather is where we're going. We had the privilege a few days ago, Damon Lane of Channel 5,
Yes.
the news guy, weather guy, excuse me, came by the ETN studios and he spent a while with us. And so we had the opportunity to talk to him about severe weather and just weather forecasting. And guy's sharp individual. He's got a couple degrees and all kinds of certification. But anyway, we had a visit with him, and so let's play that right now. Damon Lane from Channel 5. And Damon, let's talk a little bit about the 5 o'clock forecast. People are going to say, well, do you show up at 4:30 and you just pick some numbers up and some nice graphics? Can you walk us through, and let's start at the 5 o'clock newscast. How much preparation? Is it 20 minutes? Is it 2 hours? I mean, are you looking at, let's say on Monday's forecast where you're looking at things Sunday, how much effort goes into that?
There is a lot that goes into making that 5 o'clock forecast, and it's not as simple as just coming in 20 minutes before the newscast and putting it all together. It actually starts really early in the morning when I wake up at about 7, 8 a.m. First thing I'll do is look at the weather. You know, the best thing that a meteorologist can do is just look outside the window. Is the sun shining? Are the clouds out in the sky? Or is it a blue sky? I get into work at about 1:30, and the forecasting begins right about there. I'm the only person probably left at the TV station that still uses a number 2 pencil, but I start with looking at what's happening right now. I'll make a 3-hour forecast. Those are always the easiest, especially when the weather is quiet. And then I'll go into making the evening forecast, looking at all the computer data coming in, looking at what is right, what is wrong. I have about 15 different weather models that I can look at. That whole process of looking at the weather data, looking at the winds, the humidity, the lows, the highs, whether there's a storm system coming in, that takes about 45 minutes to 1 hour just to put all that together on a spreadsheet that I have, still use my pencil. And then I have to take that information that I just wrote down on paper and start putting it into what looks pretty on television. Weather, meteorology is a very complicated science. It's not pretty to look at when you're just looking at the hard science of it. So we have to break it down, make it easy, and of course make it visually appealing as well. That process takes a while. So we go from the forecast to then putting the weather icon symbols on a map. That will take about 30 to 45 minutes depending on whether we have severe weather in the forecast or not. But the most important thing that I have to do, and you know this as well, is the closed captioning, because if you are wrong, if you do not have a show closed caption, it's one of those you are guilty until proven innocent. And so I have to actually go down and type everything that I'm going to say hours before I ever say it for the closed captioner. That takes a very big part of my day as well. And then there's the radio hits that we do. The newspapers, we do the forecast for the Enid News. And then there's also going to be the social media. You know, the television, especially the television model that you watched growing up and that a lot of us probably watched growing up has completely changed now. Since the invention of the internet, since social media, Twitter, Facebook has really become very popular, You know, we used to be a television station. Now we're a media station. We are making sure that we are providing forecasts for all the social media platforms that are out there. So there is a lot, and it takes about 3 hours just to put together a 3-minute forecast that airs at 5 o'clock. There's a lot that goes into it.
That's a lot more effort than I thought. I just assumed that it was going to take a few hours, but that's a great equation of 3 hours preparation for 3 minutes. Kind of like Thanksgiving dinner. You know, you spend 3 days cooking, and it's all eaten in 20 minutes or less, and then you have to clean up. Now, you were talking about technology changes. I'll date myself, but I do remember black and white TV days and watching the weather. There wasn't the fancy graphics. It was just kind of looked like some school pictures that were you know, drawn on the TV scene, but it was black and white TV days. So with this new technology changes in 10, 20 years, and it's probably very rapidly changing, does that help you out at all?
Yes and no. Of course, with more technology come higher expectations of what the viewer at home wants to see on TV. If you look back in the 1990s, weather broadcasting was, in today's standards, simple, but it was still very complicated. For instance, there were weather graphics companies in which they would say you have 10 downloads a month. So what does that mean? You can download a satellite image 10 times during the entire month. Well, you don't want to download a satellite image when it's clear and sunny. You want to wait and kind of save those downloads for the days that you know the storms are going to develop. So back in the 90s, the weather graphics, they were very simple. It was a satellite image that more than likely didn't move. It was just a stationary satellite image. The temperatures might pop up on the map, but it was just very, very hard to look at. It was not visually appealing. Thanks to Windows, Windows really changed the way that we can present weather information on air, do it faster. The internet has certainly helped out a lot as well. And now we're going HD and 3D TV. You know, some of the latest technology that we have now coming in the KOCO television is that, let's say on a storm day, you have someone on the weather wall and then someone running the radar, drawing out the storm tracks, showing you where the circulation is on the radar. Now we have the ability to do that all on our own. So for example, I can be on the weather wall and I can basically have an imaginary mouse that is in my hand. You won't see it at home, but I can draw out storm tracks without ever having to actually be at a computer. It's that type of technology where you are becoming more involved with the viewer, becoming more involved with the graphics. Instead of just putting together a PowerPoint presentation, now you are really jumping into the graphics, whether it's three-dimensional, whether you know, it is me on the wall drawing out storm tracks on my own. Research has shown that people like to see the meteorologist on TV. So we have to try to stay on television as long as possible. There are days when storms are developing and you have radars that you have to look at and you have to step off to talk to your storm chasers. But we know that when the meteorologist steps off the camera and is not there to show you where the tornado is, people begin to have questions. So there's a lot that's going on now in technology, and it's really all happened in the last 20 years, from being able to only download one satellite image a day or 10 a month to now we have movies, we have flashy fly-throughs, we have 3D TV. You know, you're now jumping into the graphics. So it's amazing where the technology in television has gone in the last 20 years, last 2 decades, and where we're headed in the next couple of years, next couple of decades is going to be fun to watch.
If I can ask you this, Damon, excuse me, what would be, with all the technology and all the help that you have and all the sciences and so forth, what would be the most difficult part of forecasting? Is there a simple answer to that?
Oh my gosh, the most difficult part of forecasting.
I mean, it's given of getting it right.
Yeah, you know, of course you want to get it right, but probably the most difficult part of forecasting is trying to keep the viewer's attention. We all live busy lives now, you know, especially in the morning. You're no longer sitting down and watching the television. You have the TV on, but you're getting the kids ready for school, you're having breakfast, you're trying to get ready for work, all while you're trying to figure out what's the weather going to be like today. We live in a world now where social media is huge. We live in a world where we have our iPhones and our Android phones that are sitting next to our nightstand, and we can just get up in the morning and hit an app and it tells us what the weather is. So how does television survive? And that is really the hardest thing that we're going through right now is what can we provide to you at home that a simple app cannot tell you? And it really comes down to severe weather, impactful weather. And here in Oklahoma, we know how weather can hurt people. We know how bad it can be. And it is our weather, and as bad as it is, that is keeping us in the industry today. So that's really the hardest part, is how do you keep television alive? And of course, how do we keep you at home interested and wanting to watch the news?
Storm chasing, Damon, let's talk a little bit about that. I noticed there's a trend with different stations to have spotters all over the state, and they can report on a moment's notice what's going on, which has got to be very helpful, or at least it confirms what you see on radar or in your forecast. Where do you find these individuals? And I guess really my question is, are they certified, or could a character like me be one of those, or not?
You know, it goes back a lot to their upbringing, their education. You know, having the University of Oklahoma right down the street is a phenomenal school that produces some of the finest meteorologists in the entire world. So we had the ability to reach out to the University of Oklahoma to see what students are down there who are already storm chasing. At the same time, though, yes, you do have to be certified. Now, there is not an official certification program that a storm chaser goes through, but there are spotter programs. And if you're from Oklahoma and you talk to an Oklahoman, usually they know enough about weather that they can kind of give you a report. Of course, the most important thing, though, is not so much bringing in the pictures back into the station when you're going out storm chasing, but how can you communicate? Because you have to communicate to the viewer at home. I have a radar. Radar is a valuable tool, and of course it's always going to be here for us to use, but those eyes in the field that can actually see those storms and see the things that the radar can't tell us, and you have to be able to communicate that back at home. So it involves a lot of things, but certainly some of the best storm chasers in the entire world are right here. And we're very lucky to especially have these type of people that are willing to want to go out and get in a helicopter and go after a tornado, because I can tell you right now, there are not many people out there that would be willing to want to jump in a helicopter and then circle a tornado. If you think turbulence in the airplane is bad, wait until you're in a chopper circling around an EF5 monster.
What's the best thing about your role at Channel 5?
Oh, the best thing about my role at Channel 5. I love Oklahoma weather. And when you find a job where you get to talk about what you love, doesn't really feel like much of a job. It's just a hobby. It's fun. I know that the weather out here is tough. It can be bad. But at the same time, I know that there are people that need to know that information. And if you love what you do, then you never have to work a day in your life.
Very good. Well, we certainly appreciate you being here and talking to us about weather as we go into severe weather season. And Ashley, we really appreciate Damon Lane, very busy guy. Most weather folks in Oklahoma are very busy, but we appreciate Damon coming by to visit with us. The entire program, or the entire interview, will take place at 8 o'clock this morning. So if you can, stick around here on Channel 12 and 112 at 8 o'clock this morning. Hear the entire interview with Channel 5's Damon Lane. Yes. Very, very nice individual. We appreciate Damon coming by ETN.
Absolutely. What a fantastic opportunity. And right now we are going to go ahead and see a department head video from Mike Honigsberg. He's the emergency management.
Hello, I'm Mike Honigsberg, Director of Emergency Management. The Department of Emergency Management is responsible to prepare for, respond to, mitigate, and recover from emergencies and disasters that would occur within our jurisdiction. We work with all local, state, and federal officials. If I can be of assistance to you, please contact me at the number provided on our website. Thank you.
Always good to see Mike in the mornings.
Got me drinking. Yeah. Don't forget, we're springing forward. Ashley, you may not like it, but I'm sorry. We've got to spring forward this weekend.
I
Are
know.
you going to get up at 2 o'clock Sunday morning and spring forward?
No, absolutely not. I'll do it probably about 8 o'clock Sunday night.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Sunday night or Saturday night?
Sunday night, right?
Oh. Well, you can, but you'll be late all day Sunday, so you'd probably want to spring forward Saturday night.
No, I'm gonna hold on as long as I can.
Okay, Ashley, we'll do it Ashley's way, okay? So.
Yes. Let's go ahead and go to the bow tie guy and see what is happening in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma Senate okays a plan to suspend licenses of abortion doctors with exceptions to save the life or preserve the health of the mother. Governor Fallin and legislative leaders reached an agreement on a plan to withdraw about $78 million from the rainy day fund to offset budget cuts to schools and the prison system. A 15-year-old Jinx High School student wins the grand prize in C-SPAN film competition. She was chosen out of 2,887 entries and gets the $5,000 prize for her film entitled Up to Our Necks. Last night, Oklahoma City Thunder played the Los Angeles Clippers. The score was Thunder 120, Clippers 108. And OSU played Kansas State. OSU 71, Kansas State 75. Tonight, OU will play Iowa State at 8 p.m. in Kansas City, Missouri at the Sprint Center. And it's about that time of year again. March Madness starts next week. It all begins March 13th with Selection Sunday. Then the first round kicks off in Dayton, Ohio, March 15th. And on this day in history, 1876, the first discernible speech is transmitted by telephone when Alexander Graham Bell talks to his assistant. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Back to you, Steve and Ashley.
Really looking sharp this morning. This early in the morning looking that sharp. Thank you, Derrick. We appreciate that. Good deal for the Thunder to win. We're rooting for Oklahoma. Of course, Kansas State, they won their ball game, so that's great. Again, Damon Lane's coming up at 8 o'clock this morning, the entire interview. Let's look real quick at the 3-day forecast and see if Ashley can give us some pleasant tulip weather.
Yes.
News.
The 3-day forecast this weekend, Steve. We're going to still be kind of cloudy, but we're staying up in the 60s, low 70s, which is exciting, Steve. We're staying in the higher temperatures.
Yep.
I'm very excited. I do have some tulips coming up, so that's exciting as well.
I've got a really great collection of clover and weeds coming up.
That's
really,
nice. That's
really,
nice.
really, you know, all that hard work of pre-emergence and stuff that didn't quite get to that one spot. It kind of shows up. But anyway, good morning, Enid. Holding steady at 45 degrees. High today is going to be around 68, partly cloudy skies, and our winds are out of the north at 8. Here at 7:57 on this Thursday morning. March 10. Man, it's moving.
It is. It is. It's almost Easter, Steve. That's coming up around the corner as well.
That's true. Well, let's look at the menus real quick here this morning. And for today, Ashley?
Today they will have pizza, steamed corn, romaine salad, oatmeal raisin cookies, some blueberries, and milk.
Okay, and quickly for Friday, chili dog, the cheese and chips, carrot sticks. Oh, can't wait for green beans, and then we're going to have some milk. So, well, do we have time to run our pet promo this morning? We don't have time to do that? Okay. Well, we want to remind everybody, I think our phone number is 249-4910. If you have an opportunity to give a dog or a cat a home,
Yes.
you can go to the city animal control. There we go. Thank you, Penn, for doing that. There's the number this morning, 580-249-4910. You see the hours that the animal shelter is on. And anyway, I think it's a great opportunity, folks, to, you know, get a pet. So 249-4910. Well, what else do we have to talk about? Norman's doing okay, so we got a
doing
good
well.
full report there.
Yes. And another thank you to Damon Lane, our very own KOCO out of Oklahoma City. He came up to talk to Steve, and we're just very grateful.
Right. And we want to remind everybody, if you have a suggestion for a guest or anything, please give us, you can send us an email at asksteve@enid.org, and we'll provide that information. We've got pictures. And we really look forward to an update next week
Yes.
of Norman. That'll be good.
I'll get some this weekend.
Okay. Well, make it a great day, everyone.
It's good to be here. We'll see you next week.